Hello, what is up, everybody? It is TB University, episode 12. It is a huge week. Might be one of the most magical, most exciting, entertaining, gut-wrenching, anger-inducing weekends. It's rivalry week for all college teams across the nation. But we'll get to that. We'll tell you all about it. We'll give you our predictions. Maybe, we'll go to some of the big games because I think this is a fun year to where a lot of these rivalry games are starting to mean something with all these playoff spots up for grabs.
Well, also, before everyone's playing rivalry games except for USF because these athletic directors and these conference alliances and the greedy schools can't get the war on I-4 to be played. It's ridiculous.
And it's sad. It's sad because there's plenty of teams outside of their conferences that play in rivalry games. I don't see what the big deal is. And, UCF, you move to the Big 12 and you can, claim that you're Power 4, but let's be honest, you're playing like a G5 school. And, it's not like you're anything better than USF. USF could easily play them. And I'd say I'd put my money on Chef Golish and the boys. No bias here.
Chef Golish would get those boys ready for a war on I-4.
And
you see the way
you're robbing us of that.
Yeah.
Because, he's such a good coach. He would get them into it.
Yeah.
He would bring that hatred right back. You think
would.
It's gone. You think that rivalry's dead. Trust me, Golish would get those boys ready to run through a brick wall.
That would be electric. I mean, just thinking about that. But it's a darn shame. There's no reason why it can't be scheduled in the non-conference. Like, no reason whatsoever. I think UCF scheduled Florida and then, 3 FCS schools. Just cupcakes, man. Play USF. Play home and home like you always did. It's not that hard. It's not far travel. It's good revenue. It sells out the stadiums both ways. Just play the game. So dumb.
Yeah, but
Makes me angry.
I think the thing is, though, is, we're seeing with UCF, you're getting so scared to play USF, but when you look at, the schools in Florida, there's the Big 3, and I think USF is going to make that a Big 4 because USF plays Miami. They play Miami next year again. Mm-hmm. They play Florida. Mm-hmm. They're trying to compete with the top dogs. UCF, you're scheduling who? Who's your non-conference? I think Maine or New Hampshire.
Yeah.
One of those states where I'm not quite sure exists because they're just so irrelevant. Yeah, so,
And the Gators. But that's not even that big of a deal at this point. It's getting bigger deal.
Yeah.
And you got
Well,
smoked.
it'll never happen again. Yeah, you got beaten. You'll probably, cancel a home and home with them. But, you look down the next couple of years, I think we're going to be talking about a Big 4, and UCF is not going to be one of those teams.
Irrelevant. But back to the Big 4. USF is coming off a huge, huge victory on senior night. It was a beautiful scene. Will was there, corresponding. Beautiful scene. All these seniors that went through so much in the Jeff Scott era to stay here, to build the program back up, to make them bowl eligible for the second year in a row. First time they're bowl eligible in 2 consecutive years since 2017 and 2018. And they did it in convincing fashion, beating Tulsa 63-30. And they completed the gauntlet of Chef Golesh beating someone, and then the team that loses fires their head coach. So, very impressive win. What do we have to say about this one?
Yeah, man. What a game. It's hard not to get emotional, man. I'm going to try not to. But, last year, it was fun to see the seniors sign off and they get a bowl game. But this year, man, you got guys, Kelly Joyner, Jalen Schuler, Naquan Wright, R.J. Perry. The guys like that have been around a couple years and have really come together and made a solid team, set the foundation, and Sean Atkins especially, man, just the classic story of working hard, walk on. Wasn't even sure if he wanted to play football anymore, and Golish said, stay with the program, figure it out, finish strong, and to
quit your job at Publix.
Quit your job, yeah. Dude was working a day job, man, and it's like to see that, to see the especially to the applause he gets, the whole stadium erupted. I'm so happy for him, man. I'm so happy for him. He's our favorite player. Always gonna root for him no matter where he goes. And I hope he gets a shot in the NFL. But yeah, that was so much fun. But you get to the game here, and man, I think that game was over from play one. a huge run by Kelly Joyner, and then you get another one, and that was really all she wrote. USF absolutely dominated from start to finish in that game. Everybody got a chance to play. I just think, this is what we've been waiting for. I mean, my question is, to you guys, are we starting to finally see USF hit their stride? Or was this a Tulsa team that gave up? Because we've played some not so good teams and we've struggled. We haven't looked as good. You can still put up points. But, I mean, this was it was over the moment it started. And I just want to know, is it a little bit of both? Or is this, the USF we've been waiting to see? We've finally seen it. Or is this a Tulsa team that just quit and their coach got fired the next day?
They seem to be like an offensive machine. Like, if they get the chance to start rolling like they're rolling, they're like 63 points. We got you. We'll churn that out easy. That order will be finished by the end of the day. So when they're given the chance to beat up a team, they can do it.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit of both, but I think the difference between this game and the other games that USF has won, I mean, I look back at Southern Miss, obviously Bethune-Cookman, that's an FCS school, it's a little bit different, but Southern Miss, UAB, even Charlotte last week, these games, USF started off very slow, but this is the one game that they just started off from the rip, from the tip-off, from the opening kick. USF was there to dominate, and, 42-7 at halftime. That is not a score you see at halftime very often amongst, teams that are playing down to a lower level of division football, much less a conference opponent. So I do think we're seeing USF play better football. I think it starts with the rushing attack, which they had over 300 yards again in this game. And I think when that is going, this offense is so much more potent. I think seeing that and seeing how the rushing attack has looked in the last few weeks is why we've seen USF start to really hit their stride, especially offensively.
Yeah, and it's a three-headed monster there. Of course, you got Kelly Joyner. He's your bell cow. Then you got Naquan Wright. And who's the third guy?
Teron Keith.
Teron Keith, yeah. Those three guys, all scoring touchdowns, all making impact, all having explosive plays. And it mostly comes from them. USF, this was the most explosive plays they had, 16 in the game. And you can credit them to this running back room. All three guys are solid. All of them are home run hitters. And that just makes it easier for the rest of the team. And especially, even with somebody like Bryce Archie, he's not the fastest guy. He's not Byron Brown. But when we have the running game going like that and you start doing that read option and stuff, and Bryce Archie's able to take it, scamper in for a touchdown. He had another huge run. I think he had like a 40-yard run as well. That makes him so dangerous. And, it's all thanks to those three guys who are just phenomenal ball carriers.
Yeah, this is one of the better running back rooms in the country, man. You look at Tampa Bay, pro and college, man, some of the best running back rooms you're going to see. But like you mentioned, having that three-headed monster, everyone's getting their touches, passing, running, all that stuff. Everyone's getting to eat. Everyone's fresh, stuff like that. It is so impressive. And this is going to go down as one of the best, running back rooms in USF history because it's just so many ways they can beat you. And USF has had some good running backs. D'Ernest Johnson, Marlon Mack, but just the whole consistency and depth of this running back room is very, very impressive. When they have almost any type of space, they make the most out of it. This team has worked with, or this running back room has worked with a lackluster offensive line and has still produced in a lot of these games. So I just can't say enough, especially with the seniors, Naquan Wright, Kelly Joyner, these guys, last home game in Raymond James. Can't say enough about these guys. They have been warriors for the team. I think this would be a completely different USF season if Kelly Joyner doesn't spark them in the fourth quarter against UAB in the middle of the season. Completely different. This could be wheels have fallen off, players, the locker room's lost, stuff like that. It really could be. But Kelly Joyner, he gave them the spark. They won that game, and now they're headed to a season where they could end up being one or two games better. No, just one. Where they could end up being a game better in the regular season and then another opportunity to win another bowl game. So can't say enough about this running back room.
Yeah, you absolutely can't. And, to continue on with the offense, I think Bryce looked pretty good. Throwing a bunch in the air, threw a couple touchdown passes. And I think, the two guys that really stuck out to me, Peyton Singletary, number one, the tight end. he had a solid game, was rewarded with a 16-yard touchdown. He was catching a bunch of balls. And then Keyshawn Singleton, man, electric player. Caught a nice little screen and took it all the way to the house. Couldn't bring him down. He's that good. So shout out to those guys on the offense.
You know who I was excited to see, Will? I was excited to see number 11, four-star recruit out of Flip from Tennessee, Jonathan Eccles, tight end. We have not seen him much, but he was in there, a 59-yard touchdown.
A beautiful touchdown,
yeah.
And that's what sent me home. I was like, I want to stay one more drive for USF. I want to see the last drive because I think they're going to score again, and that was just a perfect way to go out.
The kid has a bright future here at USF. I'm hoping he sticks around, but a lot of talent, four-star recruit, one of the bigger recruits out of the whole group of 5, and he made the most out of it. 59-yard touchdown. That was really fun to see. A highlight, when the game was almost over, it was good to see, have something noteworthy like that happen. And then, defensively, these guys, Tulsa ended up scoring 30, but, that was all pity points. 7 points in the first half. Just spectacular stuff. What? Holy moly, 12? Nope, that's tackles for loss. 12 tackles for loss. 2 sacks, 3 interceptions, just spectacular stuff from this South Florida Bulls defense.
I've been waiting to talk about these guys. I've been waiting all day. What a game for the secondary. And it all starts off with Tafik Bayard getting the interception. But you know what? This is a sign of a great head coach team because these guys were flying around and making plays the entire game. We're up 28-0. 28-0. The game is essentially over. That was the first quarter. They're in for a butt whooping, but Tulsa breaks away. Tulsa's running down the field.
Oh, man. What a play.
James Chenault firing down the field, giving maximum effort, championship-level effort to get the stop, to tackle them. USF is able to get them to go turn over the ball on downs on their own goal line and to answer with a 94-yard touchdown drive to go up 35-0 going into the half. That's the type of effort you love to see. Shout out James Chenault, and he got rewarded with a pick in the second half. That play spoke volumes to me. I'm sitting there watching that because, again, it's easy. The game is over. You're messing around. Your offense is cooking. You don't have to give effort on that play, but you do it because that's what winners do. Winners make plays like that. And then also, Ben Knox, we go to the second half. He gets burned a little bit. He could say, game's over. It was like 42-14 or something at that point. I can't remember, 42-7. And what does he do? Sports Center top 10, did it in, punches the ball out and recovers it himself. That's effort right there. That's championship effort. That's what you want to see from this team. I know we've gone back and forth about, maybe Golish is struggling. Maybe we're regressing a little bit. We're not where we want to be. We're not in the conference yet. It takes some time. Mm-hmm. It takes some time to turn around. But when you see stuff like that, you get excited because these guys are bought in, and it's the entire team. Shout out to the secondary, though. They made plays all over. Those 3 guys had to get acknowledged. Mac Harris, you can throw him in there, too. These guys were playing lights out.
Yeah, that play by Ben Knox was something I don't know if I've ever seen before on a football field. Chased down, and it wasn't like he punches it out through the end of the end zone. He punches it up and catches it in the air. Could have been an interception if you want to get technical. Ball never hit the ground. But just really impressive stuff by this USF Bulls defense, and I think the effort point is so key and so crucial. Well, I think you look early on in the season, it looked like as the score got away, in that situation, and as the score got away, either for USF or against USF, the effort started to get lower. There was, just plays where it just kind of felt like there were some USF players giving up, and also there's a lot of plays where the depth was kind of hurting them, and their players just running out of steam at the end of the games. But now some of these younger players are playing more snaps. They're giving the team more, good depth, and the effort's great. To see both those plays where these people are getting chased down, and it ends up, Tulsa ends up getting to the 1-yard line twice and getting no points out of it. It's exquisite, special effort, and that is what builds a program. And when you look at a senior class like this, if this program goes, the direction that, we see it going with Alex Golesh. You look back at some of these guys as the pillars of your success. You look back at Kelly Joyner, Sean Atkins, guys like that as people that paved the way for USF to become a powerhouse football program again. And those guys will always have a special place in USF history. I think about, I remember when Clemson won, either the first or second. Dabo Sweeney's up there, and he's talking about Taj Boyd. And Taj Boyd was there 5 years ago. But when they finally won that championship, he's thinking about the pillars of their success, the people that brought them out of, being bad. And these guys will always have a special place in USF history, especially if there are pillars for USF to become a powerhouse football program in the beautiful Tampa Bay area where all these people want to go play, where all this school wants to go and get a new stadium, go to a new conference. This is going to be a group that's remembered for changing the culture at USF.
Agreed, 100%.
Beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, we good? We got another USF game to cover.
Yeah.
So
we got a game. Still got to cover the game.
No. What game?
USF's
oh my
game.
gosh, you're right. I'm tweaking. Sorry.
USF's game, but hey, let's
Sorry,
just not forget the fact.
Yeah.
USF, they're bowl bound again. Bowl-bound again. I think we're gonna try to go.
You know what happened? We are gonna try to go. You know what happened, man?
Because it's not a rivalry game.
I looked at USF's schedule and I thought it was my grocery list. Because they're playing Rice. They're playing Rice. They're gonna cook rice like it's a rice cooker. But in all seriousness, again, darn shame it's not a rivalry game. USF goes on the road. Rice already fired their coach. This should be another game that gets USF to 7-5.
Yeah, this should be a must win. I bet you they were scared and they fired him, before Golesh could get to him because he is literally the kiss of death. You play Golesh and that's it for your career. Man, what a guy!
What a dude!
And the funny thing too, like just slapping Herman or whatever is giving him that like silly little dap and then not giving him time of day and he gets canned after that. It's just awesome. FAU deserves it. But we look at the Rice Owls, man. I mean, the last time we played a game against UAB, they got blown out 40-14. They've struggled quite a bit. They're 3-8 on the year. And, in that game, one thing that really, sticks out to me, it flies off the page at me is, against UAB, a team that USF beat, Rice gave up 190 rushing yards. It's an average of 5.6 per play. Come on, man. You got to like those odds, right, with USF's running game. So that should be, area where USF can really dominate. Let's see a 300-yard rushing game again. Love to see that, close out the regular season. And then offense, man, E.J. Warner, their quarterback, turnover machine, 13 picks this year. Let's see that secondary step up again, turn over the ball a couple more times.
Yeah, looking closer at Rice, this is a game that could be a little bit of a trap game. Even I just kind of forgot that USF had the game, just thinking about bowl mode and last home game and stuff like that. And that could apply to USF. You want to finish the season strong. But you look before that UAB game, which was probably one of the worst for Rice the whole season. Rice, played a couple top American teams very closely. They actually would end up beating Navy 24-10. Obviously, at that point, Navy only had one loss. It seems like Navy's not as good, but Navy's a team that beat USF pretty handily on the road in Raymond James. And then Rice would only lose to Memphis by a touchdown on the road in Memphis. So this is a team that can compete. I think when you look at it, it's defensively wise. I think they're pretty good at holding the pass game down. But, I mean, that's not what USF excels at. I mean, I looked at this Memphis game, over 200-yard rushing from Memphis. Other games, USF can run the ball, and I think that's going to be a key for them, like it is in every game. And I think if they get that established, I don't think they're going to have any problems with Rice. But if they do, if the run game gets stopped, that's where it gets a little dicey and where Rice can maybe sneak up on USF.
Yeah, I mean, I said at the beginning of the year, Rice could be a sneaky good team. I just don't think so anymore. I really think that USF, I think they might have hit their stride. They really might have, and it's going to get more fun to watch especially going into a bowl game too, man. I fear for any team that has to play us.
Yeah, getting that 7th win is good too because it can enhance the the opponent or the game you get. Getting that 7th win, it could be a huge boost. And this is my thing, man. I really want USF to get an opportunity to finally get that first above 500 win since 2019 in this bowl game. Because if you play someone 6-6 and you beat them, it doesn't count. But if you play someone 7-5 and you beat them, then you're in business. So USF, I feel like that's a monkey on their back, and I think winning this game, winning it handily, will help them get a better bowl game, which will help them get in position to break that streak.
And you want good competition.
Yeah. You want to end the season
You
with a
want to play like
signature
a
win.
MAC school or something.
Yeah, and you're doing it for your coach. You're saying, Coach, we finished a game better this year. We're above 500 in the regular season. We got you the bowl game.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, that would be huge. The improvement, being a game better in the regular season is an improvement. It's, you can see the improvement just based on the record, based on the way they finished the season, based on the fact that USF, to this point, has not had any letdown losses. They've lost to very, very good teams thus far. You can see that improvement. You can sell that to recruits. You can sell that to people in the portal, and you can sell that to continue to build your program and hopefully have it at a spot where you're competing for the American next year. So that's the stakes of this game, the stakes of the bowl game, and that's why it's still such an important game for USF. On the road at Rice.
Mm-hmm. Time to predict.
Let's predict it.
Yeah, I think I'm not worried at all. I think USF finishes strong. That's just how they're built. They are on the rise. Give me USF 59, Rice 13.
Jolium?
I will go 34-20. 20. I'll go 34-20 Bulls.
I also have a little bit of a feeling that this might be a close game in the first half. I think Rice might, playing the last game of the season, not going to a bowl game. They're going to play tough. They're going to play hard. They're getting a new coach. They just hired a coach from Davidson, so they're all kind of auditioning to, be on the team next year, not have people come in and take their spots. So I think they'll play hard. I think we could be in a one-score game at halftime, but I do think USF will pull away, and I think they're going to win 45-28. Well, this is probably the last time we're going to go in this order for the foreseeable future, but we're still going to go with the Florida Gators next. Man, oh man, oh man. My panelist to the left asked, hey, Billy Napier, show me you can win a game against a top-ranked team again. And you know what? By golly, he did it. As the Florida Gators would win another home game against a ranked team, this time the Ole Miss Rebels, against a coach that people were clamoring for just a couple months ago to become the head coach of the Florida Gators. Billy Napier showed him who's boss. Jackson Dart crying on the sideline, going back out to throw another interception to cry some more. I call him Jackson Fart. And, another impressive win for the Florida Gators. DJ Lagway made the plays. The defense, phenomenal. Stopping Pegues 3 times on 4th and short. Just spectacular stuff. Boys, I mean, what do you got to say about the Florida Gators?
I might just be a believer.
Come on, Will.
Good win for the Gators.
He's quiet because he's starting to fear. But, I think when you look at this game, I think you have to look at the complementary football that the Florida Gators played. Rushing attack, 164 yards rushing, 180 yards passing for DJ Lagway. Balanced attack. Defensively, it was definitely, there were some bends, but they never broke. Ole Miss was terrible in the red zone, and Florida was spectacular covering the short yardage situations. That is something that Ole Miss has flourished at throughout this whole year. And to beat that, Florida's also been great defensively against short yardage plays. But to play complementary football, to stop them in the red zone and in those crucial plays so often, to get the big punts, the muff punts, only one turnover from Lagway, 1-1. This was a pretty high-level football game. I think Jackson Dart, all the way up until the last, was playing really good, making huge throws, and that was really the only thing that was beating the Gators. I just think it was really impressive win, man. I think you look at Billy Napier, You look at just where he has it, and I think we were all waiting to see how this second game would go. Every season under Billy Napier has had one really good win at home in the Swamp. You look back at Utah, you look back at Tennessee, but we did recognize that those were early season wins. The win against LSU was a late season win, but to see him replicate it against one of the hotter teams in football, a team that had just beaten Georgia for their biggest win in their program's history, it felt like just a couple weeks ago, a team that could not afford a loss and is now out of playoff contention because they lost. Desperate team, and they just ran into the Gators, a team that was just a quality SEC team, a team that didn't have to have anything crazy go their way to win. They were just the better team that day. It was at home. They did a fantastic job, and that's just kind of what we are going to expect, and that's what we're going to expect going forward for the Gators is they've built it up. Billy Napier has built it up. He has done the job. These players that are contributing are young. They're going to be coming back. This is the time. I really didn't think I was going to see it and say this under the Billy Napier regime, but this is time for the Gators. This is the time where they're back, and next year I think look out. You got one more game. You got a bowl game. You got to focus on the other team in Florida. You can't overlook them, but this is an exciting time to be a Florida Gators fan. I didn't think I'd be saying that.
Just don't get Stockholm syndrome. Just don't. You still gotta push this guy to continue to get wins, and good couple wins for them this year. We'll see if it correlates next year.
What does Billy Napier have to do next year to satisfy expectations?
Not go 6-6.
Absolutely. Well, he's not going to go 6-6.
7-5.
Yeah, I think he has to go 10-2. I think Florida should be by no means be nothing other than a playoff contender next year. And I think they are that. They have the quarterback, they have the defense, they are reported to be anticipate being one of the biggest spenders in the transfer portal window. They have a class that has jumped up 30 spots in the last 2 weeks, and they didn't even really need the class because all their players that are contributing are underclassmen. The people you're losing aren't even playing right now. Jason Marshall isn't even playing right now. A couple offensive linemen, but you can repeat that. I mean, big Caleb Banks in the middle, Tyreek Sapp, they're coming back. The secondary, the linebackers, Miles Graham, Dijon Johnson, Sharif Denson, Aaron Gates. These guys are coming back. These guys are young players. Offensively, you're going to lose DK, you're going to lose Badger, but you're going to retain Jaden Baugh. You're going to retain Jacoby Jackson. You're going to retain Aiden Mizell. You're going to get back Eugene Wilson next year. You're going to get back Hayden Hansen, Arliss Boardingham. You're going to get back DJ Lagway, who's going to be on Heisman watch for the whole offseason. This team is dangerous. I have no problem saying it. This team should be a playoff contender next year. And I really am excited to see what they do this week. I'm excited to see them put belt to butt against FSU, and then see where they get placed for their bowl game, and see how much excitement that draws, and how they can push that into the transfer portal into the offseason. That's all I got. FSU's coming off a win.
Yeah, FSU, man. They get lucky. They get a bye week. And then you come in, against Charleston Southern. Nobody said you could do it. Nobody said you could score more than 21 points in a game, and you double it. You go 41. But let's not forget, it is FCS school, one of the worst FCS schools. It's not something to smile about. I mean, you can be happy about a win, but at the end of the day, you should be expected to. I think even the worst team in FBS, whether that be Mississippi State or Kent State or Florida State, you should be able to handle a 1-10 FCS school. But they did, and I think it's good. It's at least good in so many ways. You give Luke Cromanhook, his first start, and he doesn't. He plays most of the game there, and he looks good. His pocket presence looks pretty good. I know, again, you're not going up against the same kind of competition. You're going against guys who will, pull up your rent-a-car at Enterprise, or, will be getting your shoes fitted at Foot Locker. Maybe they'll do your taxes for you, something like that. But you're still playing a football team. But it's good to see his pocket presence. I thought his throws were elite. I want to say he had like a 90 PFF grade for the game. Made some solid throws. Probably the best one. He rolls out, throws to Ja'Kai Douglas, who takes it all the way to the house for a touchdown. That was probably the highlight of the game. Defense, same thing. Again, you're not playing that good of a team, and their offense was also pretty terrible. But I do think, as bad as they are, on a random tangent, I think Darryl Jackson has played pretty solid. It kind of gets overlooked with everything about FSU, but I hope an NFL team gives him a chance because I think he's a freak of nature at defensive tackle, but he also makes a ton of plays. So I think he'd be a very undrafted free agent type thing or 7th round pick. Get him in. I think he's such a solid player and he's been overlooked. But again, it does leave question marks because again, we're still talking about relativity here. You're playing Charleston Southern. But again, you make some firings and the team plays a lot better. The team, still was focused. I think, looking at games like that, with how bad your season's gone and coaches get fired and everything's up in the air, the team can kind of just, quit. But they certainly didn't. They certainly didn't. They came to play. They're having fun out there, and that's what you like to see. So, all in all, a win's a win. A win is a win. And at least, you did what you're supposed to. You looked competent for once.
It's good to win. It's good to win. That's it, man. Is Cromahawk going to be the starter next year?
I certainly hope so. You look back at this class, DJ Lagway was number 1, but Cromahawk was right there at 4. So this guy's got talent. I think he's shown throughout the year that he has all the tools. He might not be, Lagway is, definitely the better quarterback, but even he, at the beginning of the year struggled. I also said on the show that I didn't think, they should split reps like that with Mertz. I think he should have just went with Lagway. I think he should have done the same thing with Cromahawk once DJU went down. You should have just rolled with him, and that was your guy. I know you kind of have to give Brock Glenn a chance there, but, after that Duke game, and even before that, there's really no point in playing him. So, he's right there in that class as far as rankings. I think there's something there. You gotta build a team around him. You gotta get better offensive line. Receivers, I'm actually not too worried about. You're gonna have Loane McCoy, Moore there. You're gonna have Hakeem Williams come back, and Jalen Brown and Malik Benson will probably be there too. Those guys learn how to catch. I think the first 3 are solid. Those are 2 true freshmen, and Hakeem Williams was a freshman last year, so. You got some stuff there. Running back, same thing. Cam Davis, he's your guy. Tight ends, Landon Thomas and Amari Williams look phenomenal. So you have something to work with there. You have something to work with. You got to just fill around them. And I think, you might be right back on track. Let's see what the new offensive coordinator looks like. A lot of people are saying UNLV, the OC from UNLV, he might be the top guy. We'll see. I don't know.
There we go. Joel, anything? Florida State? Yeah, it's you beat who you're supposed to. It's good to get confidence building. And I think it's good to say that as we head into rivalry week, we're about to talk about the Sunshine Showdown. And, college sports is interesting, man, because it runs deeper than just football. These fan bases, they've been disliking these schools and these other fans for their whole lives. They've taught their kids how to dislike this school, to hate them. And a saying always says, if you go 1-11 but you beat your rival, if you're Auburn and you beat Alabama, or if you're Florida and you beat Florida State, or if you're Florida State and you beat Florida, if you're 1-11 but that one wins against your rival, you forget about those 11 losses, at least for a good few hours, and that's what makes college sports beautiful. That's what makes the rivalries in college sports better than pro rivalries. They just run so much deeper. It's once a year. You kind of spend all year thinking about this game, all season, normally, as a Florida fan, I watch Florida State hoping for them to lose, hoping to, see them suffer and feel better about, our chances against Florida. or Florida State, and I'm sure Will feels the same way. A little bit different because they're both so down bad, but rivalry week is magical, and I think it's important both sides to understand that anything can happen on any given Saturday.
Yeah. I think that's one thing. I'm actually living it. Having a terrible season. Can we still beat Florida? I don't know. Probably not. But the Lord's testing me. He's testing me, and I just gotta not worry about it so much. But that does lead me. I said it last week too. Mike Norvell. I think that quote, it sticks in my head. You are what your record says you are. We're a bad team. But he also says it doesn't have to end that way. It doesn't have to end that way. It doesn't have to be the outcome that everybody expects to happen. You're playing in a rivalry game. Let's see, can you guys play with a little bit of spark? Can you come out better than we've seen you? Can you come out with something to prove? A little tenacity or something like that, because I feel like Florida State's been so dormant. A lot of times act like they don't care. They don't want to be out there. Can you come out with, a little bit of spark? Get in somebody's face. Start jawing at somebody. Start grabbing Lagway's hamstring.
Whoa,
Kidding.
Whoa. Someone better sock the person who does that. Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit Florida State, Miami. I mean, they were hanging in there first half. Couple big plays.
Yeah,
so
we've seen
it's precedent for it.
Cam Ward big time in that.
Threw the tablet. You're not seeing Lagway throw the tablet, bro. It's not happening. Not happening. I won't let you have that. I'm gonna if it happens, I'm gonna erase your mind like Men in Black, so you can't have that. Yeah. Drake May threw an interception. No, he didn't. You've seen those videos. But yeah, we have precedent for FSU in a rivalry game against a good team, a team that beat Florida. I'm not quite sure if they would beat Florida right now, but a team that beat Florida, and we've seen them rise their levels. Will they be able to execute is the question for Florida State. And for Florida on the flip side, you have to end this game early. We kind of talked about this in the other show. Check it out at TB3 episode 65. But with the Bucks, when you don't want to get upset in the game, you got to step on the neck early. And I think if Florida, you're coming off 2 big wins. But this is your rival. You can't overlook. Anything can happen. You have to come out of the gates early and set the tone. You do that in the trenches. I want to see big Cam Jackson, Tyreek Sapp, Joey Slackman, big senior. What a guy. Desmond Watson, 400 pounds, was just massive, and he's turned into a functional, really good football player. Just what a story that is. I want to see these guys abolish any semblance of a run game for Florida State. Give me a quick 3 and out. And then on offense, run the ball. Give it to Montrell Johnson, who had a really good game against Ole Miss, which was good to see because I didn't know we'd see healthy Montrell Johnson again this year. Establish the run game, establish the trenches, and then just for good measure, let's get a couple big, deep passes from DJ Lagway. But I think establishing and choking out the game in the trenches through run defense and run offense is important for Florida, and I think they will be able to do that early and kind of get this game over with, in the first half. Get the people leaving the stadium, man. That's what I want to see. Filing out of Doak Campbell. Only Gator fans there.
Yeah, I think, we look at Randy Shannon, the interim defensive coordinator, linebackers coach. A lot of people don't like him.
Oh, my gosh. He's a former Gator.
He was a former Miami coach, too.
He was the – all right, weird parallel. He was the interim head coach the last time Florida and Florida State were hecka down bad, and they played for bowl eligibility. He was the head coach when Damian Pierce's helmet
Randy
came off.
Shannon?
I'm pretty darn sure. I am pretty darn sure. Hold up, I'll look it up. You can keep
anyways,
talking.
Yeah, a lot of people hate him. They say he can't recruit and this and that. But if I looked at any single room position, it really was him, huh? Wow.
Yep, and he was the interim head coach.
If I look at any position on the Florida State team that has improved from week 1 to week whatever it is now, it's definitely been the linebackers. I mean, Omar Graham was darn near unplayable. And he's had some solid tape. One of the best defenders on the team. Cam Riley, Blake Nicholson, they all look good. So, anyways, but yeah, for him, I think he's going to be a little more physical with his approach. A lot of blitzes. I think that's one thing that I didn't like. I mean, I didn't necessarily agree with Fuller getting canned. Adam Fuller, the former DC, but I definitely think he plays a little too much base D. Kind of just goes band for band with the other team. But I think Randy Shannon's gonna dial up some more blitzes, and you gotta be successful. You gotta get home to Lagway. Can't give them all day to throw, and then the run game too. That's one way the Gators will get you is explosive run plays. So gotta be able to shut that down. So that's what I expect to see. Offense, just score points. But Kromenhoek, I think he's gonna get the start again. From what it seems, there's no longer the or thing. Florida State, they post the depth charts for each game, and they have ors. And there's 4 guys in one position. Okay, well, who's starting? They can't all start. But this time, there's no or between Kromenhoek and Glenn. It is just Kromenhoek. So I think that means he's playing the whole game. And that's what you want. Give him the experience. Playing against your rivals. Get him fired up.
That's valuable experience.
Very valuable. And I think, let him play the whole game. Build on for the future. Maybe get a bad taste in your mouth. So that's my keys for Florida State.
Yeah, I mean, the longer this game is close, the advantage goes to Florida State. I mean, Florida is by no means a powerhouse or anything. They're still 6-5. They're on a 2-game losing streak, but they have by no means earned anything. Have no prior. They shouldn't be coming in with their heads massive. It should not happen. They should treat this game like they've treated the last 2. It's important. You don't want to derail all this success and momentum you got. All these people you flipped from Florida State, they might just flip on back to Florida State if you lose this game. Seriously. And it is just important that they treat this game like they've treated the last 2. They go in with a killer mentality, and they squash their rival season and send them the next year. Put them out of their misery. Take Florida State out back. Tell the kids you're going out back for a second. Take Florida State out back and put them out of their misery this Saturday. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, enjoy it. There's not this many times where where the good side one of those sides of this rival is really good and the other's really bad. So I would say just guys, let's make this one to remember.
Honestly, it has been kind of one. It's been one side or the other though. Last 10 years,
it's been both bad or really good or really
one's
bad.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So the difference here is pretty shocking. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's see what happens. And I think it's time to predict, unless we got anything else. All right, Joel, start us off.
Let's go. Should I go big boy stuff All right, let's go big boy. Let's go 52-24 Gators.
Nice. Hey, they scored over 20 though.
You know what? If there's any hope I have in this game, there's a hope that all these rankings, all this stuff is meaningless. Listen, you rank the SEC teams, they play each other, they beat each other, and the cycle continues. That's all we have on them. They just play each other, they just beat each other. That's our only hope, guys, and that's what I'm, hoping for. Obviously, it's a pretty easy answer of who's going to win and who isn't. But for the fun of it, I'm just going to say Florida State because why not? That's my team, and if I'm wrong, who cares? Because I really knew the outcome anyway. But if I say it, I'm going to look like a genius.
There you go. What's the score?
If Florida State were to win, 21-20.
I mean, they're on a win. They have the taste of winning in their mouth. So.
Don't let them get hot. Don't let them get hot. Yeah, I think Florida State will. I'm 2 ways about this. I'm a little nervous that Florida State will keep it close, but I also think this iteration of Florida is just hot, and they're ready. They're out for blood, and I think that's going to happen. I think they're going to put their foot on their necks pretty early in this game. And I think they'll win big. Give me Florida 49. Give me Florida State 17. 49-17 Gators. As for your recap of college football action around the country, last week had a lot of big upsets. Some big college football playoff teams going down. We know that Ole Miss went down to Florida. We already talked about it. But another upset that happened was Kansas would beat Colorado to become the first team. This is a crazy stat to me. The first team with a losing record to have 3 wins in a row against ranked opponents. Just a crazy stat to me. Also down in the night slate, Oklahoma beat Alabama at home, and Auburn beat Texas A&M at home in quadruple overtime. Boys, I mean, from these upsets, are these teams that lost, are their playoff hopes dead? Are they fleeting? Are these teams that won good? Like what happened?
I mean, I personally think, CU. See, the thing with CU, which I think they're lucky for, is that are they one of the 12 best teams in the country? No. Do they have probably the easiest road to get in the playoffs? Yes.
I don't think they're going to make the Big 12 championship, though.
I'm pretty sure they got the easiest road out of all of them if they win. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
They need people to lose.
I don't think they do if they win the game.
I'm pretty sure they need 2 of the other 3 to lose to get in. I'm pretty sure the easiest ones is Arizona State and Iowa State. If those 2 teams win, those are the teams that go.
I'm pretty sure CU's got the easiest road, man.
I can look it up, but I'm almost positive what I said was what I saw.
I'm pretty sure just losing will hurt them the most, but I think winning will go a long way. Anyways, regardless, though, I still think they got a shot. Come on, guys. I mean, what are we doing here? Are we really going to bring up the notion that the SEC is so good and it's any given week? I mean, this Auburn team is terrible. They want Hugh Freeze gone. They lost to Cal. That's a team that Florida State beat, and they give it to Texas A&M. I think that should disqualify them. Same thing with Alabama and Oklahoma.
If Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, Colorado all win, the Big 12 championship would be Arizona State versus Iowa State.
Okay, but are they all guaranteed to win?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what, because I think out of all the games, CU's got the easiest. They got Oklahoma State.
If two out of the 4 win, because they're all tied, the 2 that win go in.
It's like a divisional
series.
series.
There's a lot of crap. There is
a lot. West Virginia Texas Tech could somehow get in, and West Virginia.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. Big 12's a mess. That's crazy.
But that's what you like. Chaos.
It is fun.
No, and then again, are we going to pretend that Oklahoma's some good team? I mean, they aren't. They 100% aren't. And Alabama getting embarrassed now twice by 2 500 teams. I think that should automatically eliminate them. I don't care if they have a ranked win against Georgia. Look at Georgia. They've been abysmal. They are not the same team. I just don't know how you could put either of those 2 in.
Yeah, I would agree. That felt like the nail in the coffin.
Especially for Alabama. Those Vandy and Oklahoma, those are just 2 bad of losses. I think A&M, it's a little bit different. It's Jordan Hare. Auburn played good, but A&M can just get in.
But Auburn's terrible.
And Auburn
They're not good.
Auburn has had some heartbreakers in situations where if a couple balls bounce different ways, they could have a couple more wins than they actually have. It's true, but
they lost to Cal.
Yeah, but that was early on. That's true. That is a bad loss, really bad loss. But A&M can get in through the SEC championship if they win out. I'm not saying they will, but they can. But yeah, I don't think either of those teams are going to end up being playoff teams. I think they're just a little bit too inconsistent. I think A&M, I really started believing them, but when you go on the road at South Carolina, it's a good team. But you got to be able to win road games if you want to be legit in the SEC. And not a lot of them are doing it, but I think Alabama is for sure gone. You just can't lose a game like that on the road to Oklahoma. A team that hasn't been able to run the ball the whole time, and Jackson Arnold looks like Tim Tebow running the ball out there. That was crazy. As for Colorado, obviously whoever gets in that Big 12 championship is going to get in. There's no other way a Big 12 team is going to get in. Personally, I'd love to see Arizona State do it. Kenny Dillingham, fun guy. Crazy. That was a crazy game if we want to talk about it. Arizona
Florida State OC.
Really? Mm-hmm. Dang right. And he's a Arizona State alumni. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, can't believe it. Well, it makes sense. The first Arizona native to ever head coach ASU.
That is crazy. Yeah, I would have never thought that. And but yeah, that was crazy. They put a second back on the clock. They
had to re-storm the field. Yeah. He was screaming at the refs in front of his wife, literally crazy-eyed screaming at the refs.
He looked like
he was funny.
He was on the white powder stuff when he was screaming.
Probably.
Yeah, it was a crazy game, man. But Arizona State looked really good. Scatterboo, talk about a gritty guy. A guy let date my daughter. Really, he's a dog. But Big 12 will definitely be interesting to see how it reveals itself. Penn State had a close nail biter on the road at Minnesota. What does it say about Penn State? I think we already know what it says about.
It's just disgusting that they're going to get in. And, you win all your games except one. It's hard to not put you in. You're in the Big Ten, but we all know the outcome there.
Yeah, these Big Ten is very top heavy, and they've only played one of the top teams. So it is what it is. I think for Week 13 action, that's pretty much it. Oh, Indiana gets pretty much smoked by Ohio State. What does it say about Indiana? They're going to probably be a one-loss team with no quality wins going in.
Yeah, but again, their only loss is a ranked team. You can't. Again, if we're going to talk about how there's like the secret power two, they were beating a bunch of Big Ten schools, and just because they lost to number 2 Ohio State, I think shouldn't demote them. If we're going to go by the book of this nonsense of ranked wins and this and that and strength of schedule, a one-loss Big Ten team to the number 2 country, that should automatically get you in. But, there's going to be silly arguments. And I'm not saying I necessarily disagree with them, but I think that whole notion that they're like frauds now and that claims it is ridiculous because there's plenty of teams from another conference who can lose a game. Like, again, there's people still arguing right now that Alabama should get in. 9-3. Lost to 2 5-5 teams. There's a lady, I don't know who her name is, but she's like is it
Heather Dinich, man?
Something like that. And she just gets airtime, and it's like, again, there's people that'll argue with that.
No, you have to win your games. I think Indiana could have helped itself by making it a better game. I think their special teams let them down. Some bad punting, punt return for a touchdown, and a blocked punt. It is what it is. But what's the difference between Indiana and Penn State? There is none. I mean, Penn State played a better game against Ohio State.
Yeah, there isn't anything. And again, I'm not saying I completely disagree with the fact that I don't think Penn State deserves it. Probably Indiana, not really. But if you're going to go by the book of this, they won all their games. Both of their only loss, both of those teams, their only loss is a number 2 team in the country. And now we're going to start talking about how these guys don't deserve it. You get what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily disagree with it. I hate Penn State. I hate James Franklin. I think he's a terrible coach. He's only good enough to break your heart and lose games that actually matter or mean something. So with the Brian Kellys and the Lane Kiffins. And who's a silly feller on the west side?
Lincoln Riley.
Silly
feller. Nice.
And they're bowl eligible, man. Woo, good for them. They beat UCLA.
Miller Moss, bro.
He got benched.
Really?
Yeah, it was Malaya or Mayola.
Crazy.
His name.
I didn't even know that. I didn't watch that
He
game.
was kind of. It was pretty boring. It was like 6-3 or something for half the game.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy.
But no, just one more thing.
Yeah.
I mean, watching that game, I mean, Indiana kept it close for a long time and also had plenty of opportunities to take the lead. They just, could not move the ball on offense, but their defense was keeping them in it for the longest time. Like, I know the scoreboard says something a lot different, but it's not a blowout, like, by any means. It wasn't. I wouldn't really say like that was just a dominating Ohio State win. It was pretty close for that whole first half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
with missed opportunities for Indiana.
Yeah, and the special teams hurt them. Like it could be a completely different game if they execute a little bit better on special teams. And I still do believe in Indiana. I think they will probably get in because if we were talking about 2-loss teams, it would be a different story. But when you're talking about 3-loss teams, it's hard to vouch for them. I think their biggest enemies will be guys like maybe South Carolina, Tennessee, and Georgia, depending on how that shakes out. If A&M goes and wins out, and then Texas is there with 2 losses, like that's the stuff that can hurt Indiana. But if chalk kind of holds and the favorites kind of win, I think Indiana will be in a good spot. I think another playoff team that's probably written their ticket to the playoff is Notre Dame. They smoked Army. It's a pretty good win. Army's been ranked all year. Illinois, crazy game against Rutgers. Don't care, but yeah. As we look ahead to Week 14, like Will mentioned, some really really big games for the playoff. Just format and stuff like that. Tulane, Memphis. Tulane has another opportunity to get a pretty quality win against Memphis team. This probably has some American Conference Championship implications. And, yeah, it'll be actually probably not because Tulane.
I think Memphis is out of it based on their conference.
Yeah.
I think it's Tulane Army locked.
It probably is. Yeah, you're right.
But Tulane, man, there's still a chance for a playoff spot for them. Anything could happen.
Well, they need a Boise loss.
Boise could lose.
Boise
could lose a couple games here. Then all of a sudden, you're talking about you got to put a G5 in.
Yeah,
Tulane's right there.
I mean, Tulane's 17 and Boise's 11. So Tulane could, after a Boise loss, Tulane could for sure.
And look, Boise State struggled. That Wyoming win, Wyoming's terrible.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of guts to get through that game, but Wyoming was right there knocking on the door for probably the biggest upset of the weekend if that would have happened.
For sure. And then, I mean, at noon on Friday, Boise hosts Oregon State, a team that just got a big win. You know, they won the Pac-12 Pac-12 championship. They won it.
Shout out them first conference winners of the season.
Yeah, there you go. Shout out the Beavers. But they could get bowl eligible with a big upset win at Boise State. I'm not saying I would say it's going to happen, but who knows? Colorado hosting Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State is 3-8, man.
They're bad.
That is crazy. That is ridiculous.
The fall off is real.
That is ridiculous.
I can't get enough of Mike Gundy.
Yeah, but
I love him. But
3-8 is crazy.
Yeah, disappointing season. He
Colorado
could get fired.
should for sure win that one handily. Egg Bowl. Ole Miss will probably bounce back against Mississippi State. They stink. Friday night. This is one I'm excited about. Friday night. Clean old-fashioned hate, I think is what it's called. Georgia hosts Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech played them tough last year, and Georgia was most definitely a better team. Will it be Philo? Will it be Haynes King for Georgia Tech? I mean, do we give Georgia Tech a legit shot at an upset here?
Oh, 100%. Mm-hmm. I don't think Georgia has been that good. I don't think they're anybody to be scared of. Carson Beck has killed his draft stock.
If he turns the ball over, they can lose to anyone. Yeah,
they just seem not be able to figure it out. And Georgia Tech is one of those tough teams, and they've proven it. They have a huge win against Miami. They are a tough team to play against. Their offense is really good. They're one of the best rushing teams in the entire country. Hard to figure out, hard to defend. So, yeah, this screams upset. Honestly, I mean, I almost feel like Georgia Tech should be favored in this game for some reason. Just the way Georgia's been playing, and Georgia Tech's ability to really take it to good teams, I don't see any reason why they couldn't dominate this game.
It'll be a good game. I think it will. Georgia Tech will keep it close. I think because of all this noise and stuff, I do think Georgia will pull it out at the end, in my opinion. 19.5-point favorites is crazy for Georgia, though.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy. They should be 7-10.
I'm going into this game expecting Georgia Tech to win.
Dang straight. The game, noon Saturday. Does Michigan give Ohio State any type of scare?
Michigan could just blow up the entire playoffs, and it would make me sick to my core.
That'd be hilarious.
Because if they beat Ohio State, you literally destroy everything that we've worked so hard to build for, which is not get that many SEC teams in. But you beat Ohio State, then again, you take Penn State, gone. Indiana, gone.
That's
Ohio State,
true.
gone.
That's not. Yeah.
You just blew it up, Michigan.
Well, they're not gone, but they might be gone.
Yeah, then, you really will get arguments like, well, Ohio State's not even that good, and we're talking about Penn State. They're only – and I would agree with them, honestly, because I think Penn State stinks.
I think we should do a 12-team SEC playoff, man. I think that would be the best way to
That's what we're going to get to.
We'll let
Greg
Oregon
Sankey or whatever his name is, the commissioner, he's getting so close. He'll just talk about how SEC is so good till he's blue in the face. And I think you will see that. They'll probably expand. They'll add a couple more teams, and then they'll go, we're the best conference, and we'll just do our own thing. And I think you'll get that. I swear to you.
It's possible.
It'll
also,
ruin the sport.
This is a pack. It's not going to happen. Greg Sankey would never ruin the sport.
I think he would, because you imagine they're already in bed with ESPN. They go, we're going to declare our own national championship between the SEC. ESPN would eat that up. Can you imagine those ratings? A single elimination bracket in the SEC.
That would be
watch the crap out.
Yeah, everybody.
It's
that's
pretty
what
sick.
I'm saying. And it would ruin college football, because then we'll get back to where multiple people claim national titles, like the AP vote back in the day, where it wasn't even a game. There wasn't even a singular game.
Yeah, we can't be doing that. Tennessee at Vandy. Vandy pulling an upset at home. That would knock Tennessee out.
Oh, please,
I would love it. I would love
the
it.
The fall off is real for them, too.
They've just played some tough teams, man.
Vandy,
they're going to go to bowl game.
I saw the best thing ever. It was, who was it? I think it was Texas A&M or South Carolina. One of their bar stools was like, please, Vanderbilt, please, get Tennessee out of the picture. They said, like, the General Grievous, like, it'll be done, my lord.
That's funny. Noon is good, man, because we got the Palmetto Bowl. We got South Carolina at Clemson. This could be a playoff play-in game, depending how things shake out. Clemson's at home. Last time they played the SEC team, it did not go good, but this seems like a different team. I mean, I don't know. Who we got here?
It really Clemson's so weird because, they lose so bad to Georgia, and I think Clemson's dead. Everybody was right about Dabo. The Lord will provide the recruits, not using the transfer portal and stuff like that. But then, they start playing really good. Start having some dominant wins, and you think, okay, maybe Clemson's back. Maybe he's onto something. And then they get, embarrassed by Louisville. Mm-hmm. Embarrassed. And now I go, I really don't know what to make of this Clemson team.
Almost lose to Pitt.
Yeah. I really don't know who's going to show up. If it's the early mid-season Clemson, I think they could probably win pretty easily. If it's the Georgia and Louisville Clemson, I think South Carolina will roll. Is that in
it's Clemson.
Death Valley?
Oh, it's in Death Valley. Okay,
I was gonna say that's the only thing that well, it's because it's in Clemson. I'll go Clemson.
Who are you picking?
I'd go Clemson because it's in Clemson.
Well,
what's the spread looking like?
-2.5 Clemson.
Okay, that gives I'll take Clemson then.
I'm taking South Carolina. I think they beat them by 10. I think South Carolina is legit, man. They're playing good football. Notre Dame goes to USC. USC knock Notre Dame out of the playoff picture. That would be fun. I would love that.
I wouldn't mind
chaos. Give me chaos throughout college football. Come on,
I wouldn't mind it, but I am. That's the kind of the good thing about Notre Dame being in there, because then there'll be that one Cinderella team. They'll
lose to Boise State.
No, because I think Boise State's gonna get a higher seed than
the Big 12.
Yeah, so it'll be like that fun team. Again, it could be CU, could be
awesome.
Arizona State, and they'll play Notre Dame, and then they'll beat the brakes off of them, because that's all Notre Dame is good for. They're just that team you destroy to get to the championship or the next round. Seriously, when have they been relevant? Am I supposed to believe this is Notre Dame's year this year?
I kind of believe it a little bit. Not that it's their year, but I think they'll win at least one playoff game. I think they will.
Doubtful.
It'd be fun to see him lose. I love Stanford.
USC.
Oh yeah. I was just thinking S in the colors.
Miami goes to Syracuse. Kyle McCord. Can we pull an upset with Miami? Come on, Syracuse. Give me Syracuse. Bang. Miami is struggling with Wake Forest, man, this weekend.
Yeah, until Wake Forest made fools of themselves, throwing a pick six on a screen. How do you do that?
But Wake Forest stinks, man.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
But Miami kind of rolled after that. I don't know. It was close for it gave me hope for half a quarter. No, I don't think Syracuse can do it. I think Kyle McCord. I think the haters were right about Kyle McCord.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
He throws a lot of passing yards, but
12 interceptions.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He's doo-doo.
Joel, Syracuse or Miami?
I will go Miami.
Iron Bowl, 3:30. Auburn at Alabama. Auburn is looking for bowl eligibility with a win against Alabama. Alabama is looking to be 9-3 and at least have people talk about them in the playoff picture. First one off CBS. We're going ABC. I'm sure Kirk and Chris will be calling that game. No, they're going to be calling Texas A&M Texas.
Yeah, for sure.
No, they will. I forgot about that game. Give me Bama.
Yeah. There's that one DB from Auburn who said he guarantees he'll never lose to Bama in his career there, and he said Ryan Williams stinks. That's some whiteboard material.
Yeah, that's
bulletin board.
Rat poison.
Yeah, that's not good. So I think Alabama's going to win pretty easily.
I'm going to go Auburn. They won a bowl. Alabama's deflated.
Dang straight. Arkansas at Missouri. Arkansas pull off an upset. I actually, you know what? Give me the Pigs. Give me the Pigs in this game at Missouri.
I think Missouri wins easy.
Woo pig, baby.
They probably still think Dinkwitz still probably thinks they got a chance at the playoffs.
Dinkwitz.
They're gonna beat Arkansas by like
I
missed
said
extra
it.
point. And be
Playoffs.
like, yeah, we're fighting for the playoffs still.
Oh my gosh, idiot.
I'm gonna go Missouri.
Any thoughts of Washington going on the road and pulling off the miraculous upset against the Oregon Ducks? I think Washington
Again,
keeps it close,
It
just
would
for gigs.
just really destroy. I can't have these teams lose. It's gonna destroy everything.
Would it be fun? Like, let's see what happens.
No, you're just gonna get some undeserving SEC team in, and I
They're gonna
won't
win it
stand
all.
for it.
I want to see the story play out. So
Chaos. Give me chaos.
Let's see it, Washington. What you got? Win for us, baby.
I think Oregon wins, but Washington covers. The game of the week, the renewal of the rivalry. Texas at Texas A&M. Texas A&M needs to win out to get in the playoff. Texas doesn't have a good win. They really need a win here too. It's at A&M. It's going to be electric. It's going to be pretty awesome. I can't lie. Let's see. Are the tickets still $1,000 for the cheapest? $525. At some point.
That's actually a steal compared to the tickets I've seen.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. What do we think? Texas, A&M.
Give me Texas. Give me Texas. I'm tired of hearing about how they don't have any wins. I still think they're a solid team. I think they handle business against Texas A&M. Kyle Field, is full of cultists, but I think Texas will win. Even if I just think Arch Manning's is the truth. Even if Ewers goes down, he's not playing. I think Arch can do it for you. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a big stage, but Texas A&M has also looked pretty bad from time to time. I like Mike Elko, but I'm not really convinced that Texas A&M is that good.
I will take Texas, please.
I'll take Texas too. I think they will. Another big one. Kansas State at Iowa State. I don't think Kansas State can win the Big 12 championship.
They sure can play spoiler.
But they can play spoiler. They're still a good team. Kansas State, both the Kansas teams have been very disappointing to me. I think they should have been the class of the Big 12. I mean, we're seeing it with Kansas right now. If they had just started off the season like this, maybe they'd be in the Big 12 championship discussion. But I think Kansas State's going to win this game. I don't think Iowa State does.
I actually do too. I don't believe in Iowa State at all. I never did.
No,
I never
don't
did
either.
believe in them. Brock Purdy's gone. Brees Hall's gone.
I don't like how Iowa State always wears the black and white jerseys. Like they're
red and yellow. Bring back the Cardinal with the ISU and the tornado.
I will say
those helmets were sick.
They were wearing sick jerseys at Utah. It was one of the best jersey combos, like matchups. That Utah was wearing those black like painted uniforms, and Iowa State was wearing all white, but it had orange script Cyclones on it. It was sick. Great. That was one of the best uniform like matchups I've seen all year.
Nothing will beat that. It's like a super ripped Cardinal.
I know what you're talking about. No, that's
tornado.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Ever since that, they fall off. Their logo's ugly. Ketchup and mustard. See you later. No bueno.
I'll play contradictory and just go for the record's sake. Iowa's got a better record. They win.
Dang straight. So, hunker down. I hope you guys have a beautiful and blessed Thanksgiving. Hunker down. Watch some college football. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment down below. Is USF going to win? Who do you guys? What dog do you have in the fight? Florida, Florida State. Are you guys UCF fans and you're just checking us out? What is it? Comment down below, like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, follow us on Spotify and give us 5 stars, please and thank you. And most importantly, have a beautiful and blessed night.